Okay. And Jamie, we're about 1 minute. And so, I think we're going to say Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to everyone. We'll begin with music that reminds us that Shabbat is an island in time. Eternity utters a day. You can find the lyrics on page 45, but we're going to start with Yai Yai Yai.
From the marketplace away, the song on the wind, and joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. Die, 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 die. Yeah, die, 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 die. Yeah, die, die. Yeah, die, die, yeah, die, die.
And I invite you to take a very deep breath in and out. Eternity utters a day. Here we are on this beautiful Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rabbi Ruth Zlotnick. I'm joined by Rabbi Dana Benson and one of the new members of our music team, Sarah Faulkner, Sarah is also a PhD in literature, so Faulkner is a very good last name to have, I realize. We're so grateful that all of you are here in the sanctuary with us, and we're so grateful to all of you who are there at home joining us. We just had a little confab, the congregation who's present and I, about how you all at home can feel the energy when we are singing together. And we can feel the energy through the screen. We can feel you at home. We are working so hard in this year to figure out how do you feel a sense of community on Shabbat when some of us are here and some of us are there. And I think we just had a little taste of it at the beginning by singing, by being fully present wherever we are, by breathing deeply, and by feeling that light within that gets shared when we're in community, joining our voices together. This is our Shabbat table. We envision this like we're at a community table together singing songs of Shabbat. It's a little shorter than some of our other services. It's a little more music-filled. I know that we had Song Circle right beforehand, which we're going to keep doing before our Shabbat table so that the voices of singing can just waft up. But that sense of light, this is our first Shabbat without daylight savings time. The days are getting shorter. We feel the darkness around. but feeling that sense of community, that sense of being together with one another, that's where our light shines. And so we are so grateful to Leslie and to Ethan Silverman, who will be lighting the candles of Shabbat. The blessings are on page 2. And I'm actually going to give the matches to Mom, but I'm going to invite Ethan to do the reading. And so just out of, just saying, I'm a mom too. So you could just read actually the English if you'd like. Yeah, you'll join Rabbi Dana in singing the Hebrew. Yeah, so if you would we're on page 2, and if you want to do maybe those 2 paragraphs.
Okay. Hello. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Beautiful. And now, Leslie, if you'll light, and we can all join Rabbi Dana together as we sing the blessings of the Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Here you go. Thank you very much, Yasher Koach, to both of you. And we really feel now the sense of how good it is to be in community. I noticed some folks in the lobby before who was seeing friends that they hadn't seen in a while. It really feels awesome to see people in 3 dimensions.
And hear them.
It's
so nice.
Right.
Your voices here.
All of the senses are being enjoyed. And we say, Ma nara hamakom hazeh, how awesome is this place? And so, but we also say, Ma tov, how good it is to be in community. So we're going to sing Hine Ma tov, and I think it's going to be around.
It's going to be, it's around on page 10. So for those of you who know it, we need you. Sing whichever part as we go through. We'll be demonstrating some of the split as well, but however you feel you want to engage, there's no wrong way on this one. Just be present and fully here with us in this melody. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet anu gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet anu gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet anu gam yachad. Shevet anu gam yachad. Pick apart. Hine ma tov u'manayim. Shevet anu gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim. Shevet anu gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim. Shevet anu gam yachad. Ooh, I can hear the harmonies beginning.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. And Rabbi Dana, I'm wondering if we could do the next part together, if you'll chant the Hebrew, because there is a prayer that you say around the Shabbat table when you're with loved ones. We say it particularly to the younger generation, but here we feel like blessings can be spread and shared among everyone. So if you're near someone you feel comfortable touching elbows with or maybe putting your arm around, awesome. If not, that's okay. Let's just feel that sense of blessing surrounding us. And Rabbi Dana and I together will say the priestly benediction, which is traditional to say to loved ones on Shabbat. May God bless and keep you always.
יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך.
May the light of the divine shine upon you and always be gracious to you.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום.
And as we move into this eternity in time, this Shabbat day, may we feel the presence of God with us, and may God always bless us and all we love and the whole world with peace.
Ken Yiratzon.
Ken Yehi Ratzon. Amen. And so we feel this sense of peacefulness, this sense of joy, this sense of awe. And it is said that when the angels of Shabbat come in and see that, their prayer to us is that we are as joyous and feeling as blessed next Shabbat as well. So let's welcome those angels of Shabbat with Shalom Alechem. I'm not quite sure of the page.
24.
It's on page 24.
And as we were talking about when we did Song Circle earlier, this melody is fast, it's fun. So let it get you, into that prayerful space. It's our prayerful workout in certain ways. And so enjoy it, have some fun, help us build the energy that will shine all the way out to our friends who are at home and hopefully even reflect back onto each of us. Let me hear the shakers. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni again. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
So I'm going to invite everyone who is able to rise in body, and for the rest of us, we'll rise in spirit. I'll invite you to rise because at this moment, we're actually going to feel that connectedness to the one God of heaven and earth, as our ancestors described it. And I'll invite you for one moment to just close your eyes. Just close your eyes and breathe at your own pace. Maybe feel that sense of connectedness, that we are all here together, singing of the oneness through which we are all interconnected, the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto. Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto. Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. And as we feel that sense of interconnectedness, we can feel the Sukkot Shalom, that shelter of peace of night surrounding us. Hashkivenu, our nighttime prayer, is on page 42.
Hashkivenu Adonai. Where are my shakers? Eloheinu leshalom. Vehamidenu shomrenu. Lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us with wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai. Eloheinu leshalom. Vehamidenu shomrenu. Lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai. Eloheinu leshalom. Vehamidenu shomrenu. Lechaim. Lechaim. Lechaim.
So just a little topic to share with all of you, with a question for you to take with you to your own Shabbat tables after we finish services here. I mentioned before this line. You know what? Since Rabbi Dana is not here, I'm going to let you guys see my whole face. How do you like that? I promise to put oohs and ahs from the congregation. Yes, I actually have a mouth and nostrils. And it looks like no, it doesn't. It's gotten a little older. Actually, it's so interesting that I use this because what I wanted to speak about tonight, there's our Torah portion this week is one of the juiciest ones they're all great, yada, 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 but this one's really great because this is Vayetze, this is Jacob falling asleep and having this incredible dream and waking up and saying, Ma Nora Hamakom Hazeh. How awesome is this place? It was just a makom. Makom, I can't even quite articulate enough how in the Hebrew, it is just a commonplace place. It is just some place. But because Jacob stopped everything and allowed himself just to be, he was able to feel the presence of something bigger than himself and awaken to how awesome this place is that he's in. I want to share with you a story that takes place a long time ago now, maybe about 25 years ago. And my mom was quite ill and had a lung transplant and had been it wasn't doing great right after the transplant. But about a month later, she was slowly getting better. And she had moved to a room, this is in New York City, at Columbia Presbyterian, which is uptown overlooking the Hudson River. And I'd gone every single day. I was actually in rabbinical school at the time, so I would go every single day to visit her. And she was beginning to feel better. She was beginning to be able to see a life at the other side of this, terrible procedure after she had had all of these, difficulties with it. But meanwhile, I was visiting with her and I was learning to cross-stitch. And so to pass the time in the hospital, anyone who spent a lot of time in the hospital, you find what you need to do to pass the time. So I'm working on my cross stitch, and I'm not proud to say I used some of what we used to call my father's golf words because I wasn't getting the embroidery. I was getting very frustrated. When all of a sudden I hear my mother sigh, this beautiful, contented sigh, and she said, "It's just so beautiful." And I'm still in my cross stitch. "What, Mom? What's so beautiful?" And she said, "Look, it's so beautiful." And I looked out the window, and it was just a weekday afternoon, but the sun was glistening on the Hudson River, and it really, really was awesome. It was so beautiful. My mother's life had ceased to be what it was. She stopped. And she was able to see the commonplace beauty just in a scene that we had seen a gazillion times together. Ma Nora Hamakom Hazeh. How awesome is this place? Shabbat, the word Shabbat is connected to this word for cessation. It really is about stopping the busyness in our lives so that we can feel the awesomeness and the blessings all around us. My hope for all of you is that that's what your experience will be. You'll take the melodies and the community feeling that we are sharing together across time and space and bring that with you into your Shabbat experience so that you, like Jacob, can awaken in a place that probably will feel quite ordinary to you, and you too will be able to say, "Ma Nora Hamakom Hazeh," how awesome is this place. And if we're able to do that even just a little bit, then we will experience what Shabbat is all about, just a little taste of how we can experience paradise right here in our very common world. Ken Yehi Ratzon. I'm going to put my mask back on. I'll turn my mic off so I don't make you all crazy. Because we know that for some of us to experience that sense of awesomeness, it's more challenging perhaps at this moment than at others, because we or someone we love is in pain and in need of healing. And this is why we make sure whenever we're gathered as a community together to share prayers for healing so that we can feel the awesomeness of the strength and support of those around us. So I'll invite you, if you're listening online, to please feel free to include the names of anyone that you'd like in our prayers for healing in the chat. And for all of you who are here, I'll invite you to say out loud the names of anyone that you're including in our prayer for healing. For everyone we've named out loud and anyone we may hold in our hearts, Mishaberach for healing is on page 253.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
May each and every one know a full and speedy healing of body and of soul. Amen. I realized in telling you my little story, I forgot to give you the question you're supposed to bring home with you. So here's the question. When you go to dinner later on tonight, maybe share a time. It could be in this past week, but maybe it's another time. Like for me, mine was many, many years ago, when you were in a commonplace, some place that was very usual and ordinary and everyday for you, and yet you had this moment of awesomeness, of awakening to something bigger than yourself. So when was a time when you were in an ordinary, everyday place and you felt a sense of awe? That's your question for tonight. Something to think about. And meanwhile, we're going to also move these prayers for healing to a sense of our prayers for memory. Because part of what makes Shabbat feel like an awesome space is the fact that we really are in this island of eternity, where all that was and all that will be coexists with all that is. And we remember that moment when a loved one once stood by our side. And I think that sense of awesomeness that we feel as we remember the losses in our lives are captured by one of my favorite poems by Yehuda Amichai. Patuach sagor patuach. Lifnei she'adam nolad hakol patuach bayakom beladav. Open, closed, open. Before we are born, everything is open in the universe without us. For as long as we live, everything is closed within us. And when we die, everything is open again. Patuach, sagor patuach. Open, closed, open. That's all we are. This week, we're remembering these loved ones who have died in the month that has passed. Lee Broadwin, father of Elliot, father-in-law of Christian. Jean Branzel, a beloved longtime member of Temple Beth Am and a past president, husband of Liz, father of Anne, Rachel, and Susan, grandfather to Max, Lauren, Clara, Olivia, Julia, and nope, that's not correct. Husband of Liz, father of Anne, Rachel, and Susan, grandfather of Max, Lauren, Ciara, Olivia, Julia, and Samantha, and great-grandfather of Etta. Evelyn Bishop, mother of Michael, Leah, and Jean, mother-in-law of Shirley, Gary, and Andy, grandfather to Naomi, Ben, Dan, Sarah, Leah, Elizabeth, and Rebecca, grandmother-in-law to Brett, Alyssa, and Louise, and Reese, and great-grandmother to Jordana and Tova. We're also remembering these loved ones who have a yard site at this time. Ruth Aronin, Jeffrey Berkman, Stanford Kahn Bloom Jr., Henry Boyer, Phyllis Bricker, Wendy Clark, Rose Cohn, Maria Ellen Bogan, Reuben Fishman, Dorothy Grunfeld, Eric Haas, Marvin Guan, Pamela Hill, Joseph Hoyt, Samuel Kant, Sylvia Kelman, Martin Kreisberg, Raven Lidman, Gerald Liffick, Deborah Meyer, Byron Nelson, Elsie Polio, William Ratner, Gilbert Rubenstein, Fanny Sedlick, David Seidel, Charles Stern, Henry Vetter, Harry Warnick. I invite you all to share out loud the name of anyone else that you'd like to include in our Kaddish list, and for those of you at home to include it in the chat. If you've lost a loved one in the last week, the last month, or the last year, I invite you to please rise and remain standing. And if you are here this evening commemorating a yard site, I invite you to please rise and remain standing. And then as one community, let's rise with the mourners to help keep the legacy and memory of their loved ones alive. As we continue with the Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish is on page 294. Yikadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Bialma divrach hirute biamlik malchute. B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dekol Beit Yisrael. Ba'gala ubizman kariv b'imru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivarach Leolam Almei Almaya. Yit Barak v'yit Tabak v'yit Pa'ar v'yit Ramam v'yit Naseh. V'yit Hadar v'yit Halev v'yit Halal. Shemei dekudasha brechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata. Damiran bialma v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. Zikronam livracha. May their memories be for blessing. Amen. Please, if you are standing, please be seated. And in just a moment, we're going to conclude our Shabbat table, this time of singing and joy and just getting a little taste of Shabbat together. But first, I'd like to tell you that there will be no announcements. And by telling you there will be no announcements, I'd like to point a few things out to you. But seriously, just go on our new website. It does have everything. But I do want to just direct you to the next two Shabbatot, because they're both going to be a little different. Next week, we have, at long last, our adult B'nai Mitzvah cohort who had to defer their service because of COVID, like so many other B'nai Mitzvah students. They will be joining us both on Friday night and Saturday morning, and it is always so inspiring. I see a couple of our past cohort B'nai Mitzvah students and a couple of our present ones in the congregation today. And so I hope you'll join us. We are also introducing something in celebration of this cohort that we haven't done in a really long time. And it is one of those, experiences that I'm already getting a little weepy just at the thought of it. which is we're going to have a kiddish lunch after Shabbat services next week. Yeah, I see like applause hands happening. The one thing is to make sure that we're doing this in a COVID-safe way, as you can imagine. We are asking for folks who want to join us for lunch. We'll have room, we believe, for everyone. We'll be opening up space, but just to RSVP to let us know so we ordered the right amount of food, and we'll explain more about that when we're at the Oneg lunch, but it's going to be really wonderful. The weekend after that, believe it or not, Thanksgiving is already here. And so for both the Thanksgiving weekend this year and for the weekends at the end of December that have the federal holiday, as we used to say back in my former synagogue, Christmas weekend and New Year's weekend, we are actually going to do services on Zoom so that our facilities staff, who have been the unsung heroes of the pandemic, can have actually several weekends to rest and rejuvenate themselves. So just know that Thanksgiving weekend is going to be both Friday night and Saturday morning on Zoom. All right, but I'm not making any announcements, just, that's like a Talmudic loophole,
Yes, exactly.
So here's what we have been wanting to do, and I will ask those of you who are here to say it, and I'll repeat what I hear so that folks at home can hear it. Folks at home, we hope you'll put it in the chat, and then we've been saving our chat so that we can know what's coming up for people. But we say these prayers for healing, and we do believe that saying prayers together helps us feel stronger in the world, but we know that when we share joy, joy expands. So we are asking people to share simcha moments in the week that's passed or the week ahead, and they can be as large as like a major life cycle event happened. For instance, a new baby was born to our community this week. Or it could be as small as, you just had a nice moment with someone. But we're asking for you to share our simcha moments. So do we have some brave volunteer who's willing to share something special that happened? Yeah. You sent your son's college application. That's not possible because he just became bar mitzvah. So that's actually not possible. So mazel tov to Dale and Rachel. I'm not sure if mazel tov's in order because then tuition follows, but we're very grateful. That's wonderful. Mazel tov. Any other simchas? Yeah. Whoa! Max, yeah? Zeke, sorry. Zeke, can I just tell you, we've shared a lot of joyous things. Never has it gotten an applause before. In case you didn't hear that at home, Zeke, how old are you, Zeke? 7. Zeke, who is 7, got his COVID vaccine this week. Today? Last week. Great.
Oh.
Anyone else? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wonderful. Imam Antepli, who actually spoke here, Akiva is saying that Imam Antepli, who's a friend of Temple Beth Am and an incredible teacher, you heard a lecture and it was life-changing. Wonderful. That's wonderful, Simcha. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, yes, Alan.
We had our 2 little grandsons with us yesterday and today. Thank heavens for the Seattle schools closing for
And I can just say on behalf of your children, thank heavens for grandparents as well. So Seattle schools through parents of all stripes, a little curveball, and you got the blessing of grandchildren with you all day. Wonderful. Yeah, Toby, nice and loud so I can hear you. Oh, for those of you at home, Toby, like lots of grandparents with kids, but Toby is teaching her grandchild to be a capitalist because she taught him Monopoly.
I was wondering if you were going to say it because I was definitely thinking it. So.
What was
she's
that?
already a great capitalist.
Oh. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, terrific. And if you think of others, we'll have a little bit of time to schmooze afterwards. Just a reminder that the question that you're going to discuss, if you choose to, is when was a moment when you were in an everyday place in your life and you felt a sense of awe? You recognize that even in that moment, there is something awesome all around you. That's the question. Here's the request. We're going to do Kiddush, Motzi, and a closing song. Afterwards, I invite you to say Shabbat Shalom to anyone that you're near, whether you're at home or here, and to bring your prayer books, if you're here, out to our cart. Many thanks to Ronnie and to Toby for being our shamashim and making sure we all have the holiness of our words in our hands. Thank you to Jamie behind the tech. And we begin with Kiddush.
Baruchat. Oh, it's on page 5. I'm so sorry. It's on page 5 before I get going. Baruchat Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila, למקראי קודש, זכר לציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
L'chaim. And now our custom has been on Shabbat, is there anyone who's going home who doesn't have a challah to enjoy on this Shabbat, who would like to bring a challah home? Come on over.
You've been voluntold. I'm sorry. Congrats.
Is that you, Alana? I'm sorry, you got to come on up.
It's Jewish community voluntolding is totally
Oh, but this way, if it's okay with you, I get to give you a hug. So that works out great, the nourishment of community. And the reason why we say this is because we are still in COVID times, and this way, only Alana gets to touch the challah. You don't have to lead, but we'd love for you to join us in singing the Hamotzi, and please, let's all sing together.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
And do you mind taking a little bite to make it a kosher blessing? And thank you, Debbie, for volunteering Alana that she's going to bring the challah home. And you, young lady, are the winner of a nice fresh challah from Grateful Bread. Shabbat Shalom. And with that, we're going to close with our closing song. And I believe it's Osa Shalom.
It is. If you want to follow along with the words, you can go to page 343 to join along. And just like any good Jewish song, we've got some Yai Lai Lais in there for you as well. So when we get to the part where the words aren't there, it's Yai Lai Lai. You got it. Let me hear the shakers again. Oh, se shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. more time. Ose shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imru. Amen. Ready for the yai-da-das? Oseh shalom, oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imru. Amen. One more time on Oseh shalom. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imru. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.